there will be challenges with every generation. And there always have been challenges. You know that, I think it's from Dickens, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, it's always the best of times and the worst of times, if you think about it, depending on your perspective, depending on who you are within that context. And I think, you know, I'm grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the good things that we've experienced in our lives as Muslims in the UK, while cognizant of the fact that we've had our fair share of challenges. But again, every challenge is an opportunity to rise. And I want to just reiterate that every challenge is an opportunity to grow and to rise and to evolve, really. And I think that we have been doing that. And, you know, whether it's a personal challenge or it's a societal challenge, Allah knows that He has already told us He will not burden us more than we can bear. And so every time that there is, you know, whatever the challenge is, I think it's always good to remember that Allah will never let us go under with that. As long as we believe that we can rise to this challenge and that we have the capacity to bear whatever it is and to get the good at the end of it, you know, to come out of that trial or that test better. I think that that's really important to look at, because sometimes we can get into the habit of kind of like sitting down and just naming all the difficulties and, you know, like so many things are going wrong, you know, this ummah is this and da-da-da-da, you know, like everything's falling apart, right? But I think that probably people throughout history have been able to have that conversation. Look at the First World War, for example. Look how many millions died in the First World War for nothing. They could have had that conversation then. I think it's throughout history, you know, throughout history, you could have been sitting there talking about the number of people who lost their lives senselessly under ABCD regime. And on the other hand, scientific achievements or amazing works of art or flourishing of faiths right happening at the same time, which is so crazy. And I see that happening with us. And I think the next generation will have something similar. They will have their amazing flourishing and their amazing blossoming and their amazing growth. And they will have challenges and trials and fitna at the end of the day that they have to come to terms with. Because, hey, Hayat Dunya, right? Hashtag Hayat Dunya. You know, this is the sunnah of this life. So I feel like, on the one hand, when I think about the issues that we face as individuals, as sisters, as brothers, as families, as communities, you know, I get quite passionate about it. But then I'm glad I can get passionate about it because it means I still got some fight in me. You know, there's still some fire there. There's still some hope there that we can overcome this. The worst for me is when we accept to be victims and we just accept to be at the mercy of fate and like, you know, like just give up. Like there's nothing more to say, nothing more to do, nothing more to fight. Just accept it as it is, shrug your shoulders and say, well, I guess that's the end of that. And I feel like as long as we keep noticing, as long as we keep paying attention, as long as we keep thinking of solutions, making dua, being hopeful, do you understand? Like, and keeping that vision that we have top of mind and working towards that vision, if Allah takes our life in that state, alhamdulillah,